Hello. I am coming on Facebook kind of spontaneously tonight. It is 6:40 on the East Coast. I might look a little blurry to you. I'm using a different camera today. And I'm not sure. I probably should not have enlarged my screen because now I can't see the thing I was looking at. But anyway, I hope, I don't know if I can't. I'll see if anybody pops up. It doesn't say yet, and I just messed up and made my screen very large. Anyway, I'm used to using my phone, not my desktop. So, but I wanted to come on here tonight and talk about these subscription services, if I can say it, for website building. So if you're in the middle of launching a brand, launching a business, and you're trying to figure out what do I use to get my brand online, there are so many options. And I was just talking to a client tonight, and we did her brand design and her brand strategy and kind of all of the components and everything. And now she's trying to figure out, what should she use for a website? Should she do a hosted WordPress? Should she use a website builder? I think she currently uses an existing, kind of like a Shopify, but it's not Shopify, it's a different name. Anyway, she had all these questions to ask me about a service that she's kind of thinking about subscribing to. And I just want to talk about the pros and cons a little bit. When it comes to subscription website services, one good thing is you don't have to mess with the hosting. You don't have to mess with a whole lot when it comes to setting up like a WordPress website, knowing how to code, knowing how to build things on WordPress. WordPress can be very tricky, especially for first-time users. It's a quick way to get on the web for cheap. A lot of web development people today, $1,000 is now on the low end for a WordPress website for the most part. Some people still will do them, for $5,000 to $1,500. But most WordPress basic sites, many people are charging upwards of $5,000, depending on how complicated it is, especially if it's got e-commerce and all that stuff included in it, because there's a lot of setup and configuration to do and loading in of products and stuff like that. That's kind of the downside, is it's not as cheap to get it done unless you know a really amazing person who's willing to help you out. It can be expensive to do the WordPress all at once. And so a lot of these subscription companies, they will charge you maybe $100 a month, $150 a month, and they'll build the website for free. You just pay the subscription, and then oftentimes you have to enter into an agreement of 2 years minimum. Hey, Valerie. Oh, yay, I can see you. I was wondering if it was working because I made my screen so big that I don't even know. I've never seen it this big before, so I can see myself really gigantically today. Anyway, I was talking about website subscription services. Some people, instead of like the monthly fee where you have to enter into your agreement, that's kind of how they start it. And then also they'll so included in that fee usually is website maintenance. So it depends on what platform. If it's their own custom coded platform, they can, oh, thanks, Valerie. Yeah, I'm trying not to gain back any of the weight loss. I'm trying to keep it off. I still have some more to go, but I feel a lot better. So yeah, you definitely get the hosting included. You get the design included. You don't have to come up with a large deposit for the site. However, there's a couple of things that you definitely need to ask if you're doing a month-to-month subscription type website. Number one, do you actually own the site? So if somebody's building it for you and you're paying a subscription and you're locked into a 2-year minimum contract, which is pretty typical. It could be 3 years, 2 years. It's usually long-term. Some places will do 1 year depending, but the monthly fee tends to get higher. So instead of paying like a few $1,000s up front for the WordPress site, maybe you're going to pay $200 a month, but you are stuck with that provider for a couple years. And if the relationships get stale or they're not, responding too quickly, or things turn ugly for whatever reason, you're kind of in a contract with them. And unfortunately, it's hard to break those unless you can negotiate something. So definitely ask a couple questions. Number one, what is the turnaround time for website edits? If you request something from them and you're say your homepage has some outdated photos on it, you do a photo shoot, something very common that most people run into. You got to replace all the images on your homepage or within your site, or maybe you have text changes on a site, or maybe you don't sell certain products anymore. You want to take them down and replace them with different products, that kind of thing. Ask them up front when you're signing the initial contract. Does it take them 5 business days normally to make the changes? Does it take them 3 weeks? Can they do something in 24 hours if you need them to, even if you have to pay an additional fee? Like, is that even an option? The other thing is ownership. That is important. So some of these places, they will actually retain ownership rights of your content and your photographs and your everything. So like, let's say you sign into the 2-year contract, you're only paying a couple $100s a month every month, so it's great, your business is online. But after the 2 years, you know that you could save money by hosting it yourself on, let's say, GoDaddy. Let's say you're already paying $200 a month or $250 a month, and you want to take it off of their servers. Hey, Ryan. And you want to take it off at the end of 2 years. You want to save money because GoDaddy has like a $10 a month hosting, and you've gotten pretty savvy and you kind of know what to do, or maybe you have a friend, whatever. In the beginning, you definitely need cash flow, and everybody tries their best to just get online because obviously you're just trying to get clients and things at this point. But make sure that in their fine print of their contract, it actually says that any content they create, if they use some of your content, images, fonts, anything like that, if they use that to create graphics that go on your website to fit certain sizes, especially like WordPress-based platforms, a lot of WordPress you can make things super, super customized. So they may have to create a custom size slider image for you that they design, or maybe you're having them post things for you, but they go in and they get stock imagery from their own library and they're using that on your site. Okay, great, fine. Maybe whatever, you might have to pay extra for certain things like that. But at the end of your 2-year agreement or whatever year agreement that you're in, are they going to download the entire contents of your website so you can simply upload it into your own hosting account without losing the look and the feel and the structure of it? There may be links that you have to reset or whatever. That's pretty normal, updating all the links if you put it to a new hosting, but they should be able to give you everything that they've built. If they don't have that as part of the contract, I would hesitate to hire a company like that, because you're basically at the mercy of their platform. So there's companies out there that have like one monster site, and you can go in and you can sign up in the back end and you can pay them, and then they will like kind of like landing pages that are almost subdomains of their domain. And so just be aware of that. Are you actually getting traffic? Like, is your SEO going to you, or are they kind of advertising their own people that they want to come into their site as a whole, and then you're not really getting the organic traffic using the SEO settings that you want on your back end. So I would say the pros of having a subscription service. Hey Josh, I was just talking about companies that they do a month-to-month subscription at a really low rate, and it saves people a lot of money when they're in startup mode, but then over time sometimes they get snagged by some things that they don't know about. So there's a lot of people that consider that, and it's a really great business model for people that are just starting out, like companies that offer this. And they usually include maybe 2 to 4 hours included of maintenance. So if you need them to swap out some photos really quickly or whatever, they'll include that in the monthly maintenance fee. They also include updates if you need security patches or your WordPress software. WordPress may update to a newer version and a better version or something on the internet like GDPR. Maybe they'll add, that kind of stuff in there for you included. A lot of those places actually do not do the SEO though. That's another thing to think about. So even though you're only paying a couple $100 a month for the website, you may have to pay somebody else another couple $100 if you want a relevant SEO, someone constantly tracking that, writing blog postings with your keywords in it, doing keyword research for you, making sure that any new content in there is tagged correctly, the images are tagged correctly. And SEO really in and of itself is like a huge thing. Like I don't love SEO and I couldn't even begin. I have somebody that I use for that. And I really haven't been amazing at keeping up with it because I just use social media for the most part, postings and referrals and stuff like that to get most of my clients. And then if I have to run Facebook ads, I do that. But SEO is amazing, especially for local businesses or people in a really small niche. There's just so many reasons to want to make sure that your SEO is on point, but a lot of these companies, they don't actually do that. So think about that, because over time, those little tiny costs that seem like they're saving you money in the beginning may not actually save you money in the long run, and you may lose control over your content, your brand. And 2 years from now, you might have to pay that, bite the bullet and pay. So what I would recommend, if you are going to use one of those subscription-based services, get as many clients as you can while they are running your site. Promote, be blogging, be posting on Facebook, be making video content, keep active online, do as much as you can. Like if you're going to spend anything on ads, do it while you're on a lower price subscription. Maybe SEO takes a back seat until you're making, 5 to 10K a month. Because you're going to want to get the bang for your buck in the beginning. And then that way you can save up enough money to where if they do say, sorry, you're leaving our platform, we don't give you your website, obviously it's to keep you paying every month. But if you're willing to risk that, you can bite the bullet in 2 years, save up enough money to have somebody redesign the entire thing, maybe do a brand refresh after you've got a few years under your belt, and then move it over to the hosting that you want for a cheaper monthly rate. But it's a hosting that you control, that your content is on, that you own all of it, and nobody can kind of come in and do anything weird.